this weaving will be creating a fringe. Is a center pattern. So you can see these two stems here is where you will close your fixing. This is where you will close it. That's why it's two. So it's a center pattern, straight closing. And then this one stem here is for the fringe. You understand? It's for the fringe. So we are going to pass the weave on around here and then build a fringe around it. Now, if you see this, the way we built this track, the weaving, you can see that they are opposite each other. The reason why they are opposite each other is so that we'll have a balance when we are closing. Remember, it's in the center. We'll be closing in the center. So we want a balance. So it has to be on equal sides. So at this point, you can see that I've fixed it up to this point. But remember, I told you it's a fringe. So that means that at a particular point, we need to begin to carry the weave on round. You understand, to create the fringe. Now, the point at which you begin to take the weave on round is the tip of the ear. By the time you get to the tip of the ear, you fix to this point, the tip of the ear. It is at this point, by the time you get to this point, the tip of the ear, that is when you begin to from this point, you begin to take it round. Okay, so we've gotten to the tip of the ear. So from this point, I'll begin to take the weave on forward. Remember that I said that we have a straight pattern in between. So what it means is that before I begin to take the weave on round, I would create a U. So that means that by the time I take this weave on from this point to this end, instead of going round, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back and to this point, and then take it back and take it back to this point before I begin to go round, so that I will have a perfect U. The U is perfect. Now, if you observe, remember I told you that it's a center pattern. So you can see that both sides are equal. It has to be equal to create a balance. If it's not equal, then going round will be an issue. So I'll just put the tip of this extension on this, at this point, not at this point, at this point, to create a connection. And I will go U, and I will cut. I'll create from this point to this point to this point to this point. So I have a U, so that I'll be able to close in the center pattern here. So watch off. Okay, you can see that at this point, we now have something like a semicircle. Do you understand? So now what will happen is, I've gotten to this point, I will still take it back. Now you can see that you have a space in between this weaving and this portion, this weaving and this stem. Now what will happen is, I'll still using that same technique, take it back and then sew one more. You see the way I placed my weave on? Go round and then go round like that. So by the time I go round, you can see that it has already joined. So by the time I make this journey to this point and come back, I just have the stem remaining. So like I told you, the thread, I will lift it, bring it back before I turn. When I turn, I would put the needle in the weft, sew it on this weft here, this portion here. I will sew it here. Put it again, sew it on that weft, and then begin to sew. Now at this point, I'm going to sew like a double layer on already pre-sewn side, but so that it will cover this space here, I will take the weft forward before I drag my thread. So I will still put my needle on this pre-sewn area, take the weave on forward and drag my thread so that it will cover. Now what I'm doing is I'm avoiding a situation where I will put the needle in the hair. If I do this, what will happen is that this hair will begin to break from this point. So what I'm doing by putting the needle in the pre-sewn area, bring out my thread and then take my weft forward and sew. You can see that I have successfully covered this space. So pass my needle, put it on this weft, this already sewn area, already sewn weft, pass my thread, move this weft forward and pull. So it's covered. So pass my thread, take the weft forward and sew. Now this is the ending part of the weave-on installation. At this point, your client can begin to feel pain. So if you do not know how you handle this part of this ending, you discover that your client will be uncomfortable around this area. Do you understand? Because this is where you have all the weaving starting. Do you understand? So you have pressure along this line. Then if you now do not know how you place this weave on, you discover that your clients will begin to feel uncomfortable. And when they begin to feel uncomfortable here, the hair can actually pull off from the root. That is why when some people fix weave on, by the time they take it off, they will notice that their hair in some areas has pulled off, is beginning to bald. It's because of the way the weave on was installed. So I come to this place, put my thread, pre-sewn area. So the same thing applies here. This is my needle, this is pre-sewn area, the weft of the one I've already sewn before, pass my thread, move my weave on forward. So you see that moving the weave on forward helps to close the gap. Move the weave on forward. Move the weave on forward and pull. So these have helped me cover my gap without necessarily inflicting pain on my clients. Since I'm at the ending area, I'll now take this weft of weave on, come, and then the next place I'll put my needle is on this weft. So since I have a little, all I'll just do is now finish it here, since it won't be enough to take it to the back. So I'll just finish this small one here, instead of probably now cutting. So you know this is where I'm supposed to install. So I will pass my needle back to bring me back to this point. Now I've gotten to the end. So I'll now take my hair, come, place it here. You can see I've already closed it. Place it here. At this point, you can see, even though you've closed, from far, it's not showing that it's open, but somebody who comes close will see that there's still an opening. You can see the opening. So it's now for you to perfect this closing. So how do you perfect it? You still tack, then this excess weave on, you still bring it back. Now on bringing it back, you see that the hole is smaller. The hole is smaller, and then you pass it. At this point now, you are now placing weave on already sewn area. Do you understand? You now discover that you are now placing weave on, sewing weave on already sewn part of the hair. And then you still come back, but you can see the hole now, but it's getting smaller. So you still move the thread back, still on already pre-sewn hair. You put your needle and your thread.